I'm Brooks Boyer from the White Sox. Great to have you guys all out tonight to introduce our City Connect 2.0. Few thank yous to start with. First of all, thank you to the Chicago Bulls for working with us on this amazing collaboration. Thank you to Nike, to Fanatics, and thank you to 167 Green. What a great event and what a great location. Thank you everybody for working with us. When we first set out to try to find something that could even raise to the level of City Connect 1.0 and the iconic South Side across the Jersey, we knew it was going to be a tough task. We are not trying to surpass it, we're trying to meet that. And the fact that we have two organizations in Chicago that have meant so much to this city, and that, I personally have a connection. I spent 10 years working with the Bulls before I came to the White Sox. This is a little bit of a labor of love. So thank you to Gareth Brenlin, Toby Ramos, Tim Brogdon, John Shoemaker from the Bulls for putting together a full uniform that represents the city of Chicago. All of you have seen some of the Easter eggs that have been throughout the jersey, throughout the cap, and we think that we have something that represents the city of Chicago as well as we possibly can. And to talk a little bit about the city of Chicago, there's someone who is a historian. He's a cultural icon. He has probably forgotten more about the city of Chicago and the South Side than most of us know. He is straight in on a flight from Paris to be here, and I couldn't be more happy to introduce no one other than Chicago's own cultural icon, Dilla, to share a little bit of knowledge. Thanks for being here.
You know what? I'm from the South Side of Chicago. I don't really need a mic. The next people might. I'm very excited to be here. I came directly from France because I'm a Sox fan, right? Give me some noise if you're I was just speaking over there about sometimes it's a little hard to be a diehard White Sox fan. But my perspective has changed a lot when I've changed from just the guy who's counting wins and losses to a partner with the team. Now that I'm a partner with the team, I can't tell you how many times some 65-year-old couple who's never been to a ball game asks me for tickets, and I can hit up the White Sox. I can't tell you how many times that not-for-profits operating on the far south side of Chicago, Argyle Gardens, west side of Chicago, which is supposedly Cubs territory, call me for things that they need, and I can always hit up the White Sox. So I've become a bigger fan of the organization and what it does for the South Side of Chicago than I have become a person who appreciates the wins and losses, though I do want a goddamn parade down Michigan Avenue, and I ain't afraid to say that. Now, Chicago, as we know, sets the trends, right? If you know me or follow me, you know I say every day that everything dope about America comes from Chicago. It's absolutely true. I was on the flight from Paris, I was watching Straight Outta Compton. And the entire time I was watching that movie, somebody had on a White Sox fitted hat, right? Because that logo sets the trends. When I think about jerseys, we often think about the numbers on the backs of jerseys. Now that didn't come from the White Sox, but just down the street at the University of Chicago, Amos Alonzo Stagg is the first person ever to put numbers on the backs of jerseys. And we did that right here in Chicago and on the south side of Chicago. Of course, we know that we've had some legends, right? We had a dude that played in Chicago that had his birthday on the back of his jersey. That's some amazingly dope stuff. We know we had Big Hurt. We know we had Bo Jackson. We're the only person that had a GOAT play for our minor league team, right? Right? That's Chicago. So this jersey represents all of that, and we want you to rep it with pride. We appreciate you coming out to celebrate the City Connect jersey. We're going to play a video to bring it all home, right, to show you what was behind it. What was really behind the design is culture, because the White Sox is the culture of Chicago. Check it out.
They say legacy lives in the bones. You've conquered the past, but the hunger for more can't be satisfied. Ask the South Side. Ask the West Side. Pinstripes aren't just lines here. They're the coordinates to greatness. Now reborn into a love letter to what's next. Chicago. More than letters across your chest. The our city on full display, and right where it should be. Black and red, colors bred by the dreams of every kid. Idolizing our great ones. We took flight, and never backed down from the fight. The diamond meets the court, our court meets our diamond. In Chicago, we know what's next. Because man, our legacy isn't just born here. It's bred here. And this is our monument to more.
One more thing before I bring up Connor and Brooke. You can come to a White Sox game and then leave the White Sox, go pull up on 43rd and Cottage Grove, go to Bronzeville Winery. And the place is so damn bougie, you're gonna instantly start swirling your wine. I ain't never swirled my wine a day in my life until I went in that place. You can go to a White Sox game, go eat at Cleo's. I'm kind of judging your Chicago-ness if you've never had a hoagie. Bronzeville hoagie on 35th Street. I'm not responsible for your blood pressure, your cholesterol, don't blame it on me. In order to fully continue to support what the White Sox do, you know, come hang out on the South Side, come to a game, come bring your folks. And it's more to do than you're gonna get off on 35th and you're gonna get back on the Dan Ryan and be stuck in traffic anyway. No, a lot of the flavor that people enjoy downtown and on the north side of Chicago comes from folks that live and work on the South Side. So without further ado, Connor, Brooke, show is yours.
How's it going, everybody? All right, we're going to break down the uniform a little bit here, and we're excited to share it with you. Now, we know that the Southside uniforms, they were crowd pleasers, right? And they were great, but we know you guys are really going to love this one.
Yeah, and credit goes to two organizations here, the White Sox and the Bulls, for coming together and making this happen. This is the first time that an NBA logo, you can see what we're going to talk about up here on the screen too, first time that an NBA logo has made an appearance on an MLB uniform. And you can recognize the Bulls script across in Chicago, and obviously that's a nod to the Bulls organization. But did you know that is also a nod to the White Sox uniforms of the 1930s? This will, however, be the very first time that a White Sox home uniform will have Chicago across the front of the jersey. So that's a cool new aspect here in the new City Connect.
And if you're thinking about the colors, the red and black, I know you're like, okay, this is the Bulls colors, and it's not just for style, you guys. It's also a rich part of the White Sox history here. In the 1960s, this was part of their color waves. The red and black, it's just a part of the Bulls and the White Sox together.
You've got to have pinstripes, in my opinion, right? The red, obviously, the Bulls pinstripes, obviously nodding back to the 95 through 97 three-peat. Tony, you're here, part of that whole thing, wore the red. And the White Sox have worn red, too, in the 1970s. More pinstripes as well. The black pinstripes on this uniform attribute to the South Side itself.
Okay, so if you take a look at the sleeve and the hat, that's a nice logo, isn't it? All right, it might look a little familiar. That is the wing sock patch. It's referencing back to the 1950s when they rocked this same logo, but we're just putting a fun little spin on it.
I think the next part here, too, that's the old winged logo as well. The neckline of the uniform has some pretty cool detail inside of it. Those of you know, well, you know, these are the championships won by the White Sox and the Bulls. So what you've got inside this uniform is a hat tip to those who have won championships before and will inspire teams to come to achieve that same greatness.
Yeah, and the tag on the jersey, it's just a groundbreaking crossover. It just really shows, you know, the bond between on the field to the court, just this merge here, and just the passion of Chicago sports and, you know, how much fans love these two teams.
The tape down the side and around the ends of the sleeves has South Side emblazoned across the entire thing. Obviously a nod to the original South Side City Connect uniform, which we all love, but this is kind of pushing that tradition forward just a little bit.
Okay, so obviously the uniform is a huge part of tonight's event, but there's other things you guys can do. If you take a look back there, if you haven't already looked, we got the 7 championship trophies. Just take a gander. You can take a picture with, or you can take a picture of. We also have an opportunity. You can get your very own Top City Connect trading card, and you probably have seen the art gallery here in the center. It's featuring some local artists. We paintings by Kate Lewis, Joey D, Alyssa Lowe, and Ramiro Huizar. So, and they're also available to purchase. Oh, and also, don't forget, guys, so you can take a look at the uniforms, but you are able to purchase them at the White Sox team store tomorrow at 9 a.m.
I may or may not have a hat in the shopping cart already, but you won't have to wait too much longer to see the uniforms on the field. Friday, 6:40, We'll be wearing them every Friday during the rest of the season, these new City Connects. So make your plans to watch the game, or even better, join us at the ballpark.
And surprisingly, the big league guys standing, and I see some of you guys over here, you're not the first ones to wear these uniforms. Actually, the amateur city elite team, they are going to be wearing them first, and we have a little video of them finding out the big news.
You were the first team in Chicago to wear the White Sox City Connect jerseys for the 2025.
Doesn't get a whole lot better than that, putting those jerseys on the kids and pushing it forward to what's next. Thanks so much for coming out. Want a special thank you to the White Sox coaches and players and other members of the organization who came out here tonight to spend some time with us. I know you guys have worn the jerseys before and love them so far. We'll see you in them on Friday. Don't forget all the cool stuff that you can do up here and around and take photos of. Thanks so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of the night.